you, Francesco, for the introduction. Hopefully I'm sharing my screen. Can anyone confirm that? Okay, excellent.
Yeah, it's okay.
Great. So let me just jump into the presentation because of time constraints. So the goal of this presentation today is to present the Musical Bridges project. I'm going to go very fast into that because I'm more interested to introduce to you this tool here, the Jingju Arias Visualizer, which is a tool we developed in this project. So just going into the presentation of the project, the Musical Bridges project is carried out in the Music Technology Group in the Universitat Pompeu Fabra in Barcelona, funded by a Recercaixa grant. I started there, but then moved to Kunstuniversität Graz, and I'm collaborating in the project from here. So the main goal of the project is the development of computational tools for aiding the understanding of alien music cultures. And by alien, this is a weird word, but by alien we mean music cultures that are different from the one in which the listener is being raised into. And the main goal here is not developing musicianship, but listenership, is to help the listeners to understand the music they are approaching, right? So of course, there is a lot of material already there available for music education on the music cultures. And we try to overcome some shortcomings of this material. For example, we aim to offer support to all sorts of educational formats, including autonomous online training. Then we aim to that these tools are available for people with no music literacy, so there is no need to be able to read scores, staff notation of tempo. So yes, just to be more intuitive as possible. We aim to have a large number of complete musical examples. Let me tell you that maybe you are familiar with the Raga Guide for North Indian classical music, and there's a fabulous collection of 74 North Indian ragas, but there are shortened examples and only one example per raga. So we aim to have full example of real performances and many examples for each of the items we cover. So for that we need data, and luckily there is an available corpora from this project, the ComMusic project, that was carried out also in the Music Technology Group. And this project researched these 5 music traditions, included Chinese jingju music, and this is the corpus I'm going to be using for this particular tool. Okay, and in fact, these are the 5 music traditions that we're also using in the Musical Bridges project because we already have the data, basically. So the main goal here is to bridge a gap that we find between text, and by text I mean here the theoretical explanation of a musical phenomenon, and the audio, which is the perception of it. So it is very common that you read an explanation of a phenomenon, and then you are not that able to listen to that in a performance, in a recording. So we aim to bridge that gap through visualizations, so interactive visualizations of some of these elements, these phenomena, aiming to this goal of attentive listening, so helping the listener to focus their hearing to some particular aspects, and also as much as possible to help the listener to interact with the music in this concept of engaged listening. So with this plan in mind and covering these 5 music traditions, we aimed to develop some tools, and we already have some prototype tools, and each of them are addressed to one particular aspect of each of these music traditions. So these are the concepts we are addressing in each tradition, and these are the prototype tools that are already developed and are already online for you to explore if you're interested. And in the case of Chinese jingju, the main concepts we're interested in is banshi, shenqiang, and also melodic motifs and others. I will talk now. There, of course, banshi and shenqiang are closely related. But here in this presentation, I'm going to focus in this tool, which is the one I called the Jingju Arias Visualizer. And this is the main part of the presentation. So what do we aim to address? Which phenomena from the system of Jingju music we want to address with this tool? So the main focus is to help the listener understand the concept of banshi. And banshi is a very huge concept. So here we're focusing on some aspect of it. So mostly is beat following. So help the listener to find the beat and follow it. and appreciate the metrical flexibility of panshi and jingju singing. Then also to focus on the relationship between meta and tempo with the lyrics, how the meta and tempo as expressed by the panshi change according to the content of the lyrics. And then also to understand the structure of the aria as it is defined by the lyrics lines, how the lyrics line define the structure of the aria. Right? Then also as a secondary aspect that was added later, we would like to use this tool to help the listener appreciate vocal performances, the vocal performance, the vocal style, focusing on the nuances of the pitch contour, also the nuances of the dynamics, which is quite fundamental in jingju performing, and the relationship between the voice and the jinghu playing, even though this aspect is not much developed at the moment, but it's there still as a plan. Okay, so the sources we're using for this tool is one of the corpus of the ComMusic project, which is the Jingju music corpus that I helped gather in that project. This corpus has 3 collections, Jingju audio recordings collection, which are commercial recordings. Then we have scores, music XML, so machine readable scores that I use for my PhD thesis, for example. And then we have the Jingju a cappella recordings, which were newly made. And this is the one I'm using for this project. So from the more of 200 recordings we made, I'm using the 69 for which we also have the jinghu track. So we have the voice in a track, and then we have the jinghu in a separate track. The same jinghu that was heard by the singer when the voice was recorded. So these recordings were made by students of the Zhongguo Xixu Xueyuan, the National Academy of Theater Arts. And we're using these recordings for 2 reasons. One, technical, because we have the voice isolated, so it's easier to analyze automatically. And also because we got the permission from the authors from the artists to distribute these recordings at Creative Commons. So it's for everyone to use. In fact, they are available for everyone in Zenodo if you're interested in these recordings. So we can put these recordings in the tool easily and distribute the tool to everyone. So now I'm going to go very quickly about the system, which is this complex thing here. I just want to show what is computed manually and what is done automatically. So step by step, in the collection, we have the metadata of each recording, and then we have the vocal part and the jinghu part. Then I use the vocal recording, and I extract automatically using Essentia, which is a library of algorithms for audio analysis. I automatically extract the pitch track, the pitch contour, and the loudness contour. Then I combined the vocal track and the jinghu track, and I used that with the Pratt software to manually segment. So I did that manually, the panshi sections and the line section. So where each panshi starts and ends, and where each lyrics line starts and ends. Then I take that recording, the combined recording, in Sonic Visualizer to manually annotate the beats. So I annotated the beats manually. And with that, I got a tempo curve, which is just how tempo is evolving through the track. I also use 2 sounds that we have in Freesound, which is a library of sounds. And we have a sound of the band, the clappers, and a sound of the dampiku. And I use these 2 sounds with the beats to create a new track, which is the track of the bang and the ku, marking so the beats of the track. And then in the lyrics, it's so important for appreciating Jingju. We also use the original lyrics, and I translated them into English and Spanish very clumsily. I'm not a translator, but I hope that the main content is there. So if anyone have any suggestion on improving the translation, they're more than welcome. So I take all that, I combined all that in a tool using this JavaScript library, p5.js, to develop this tool that I'm going to demonstrate very quickly in few minutes. So the tool is available in this link here. I think I'm going to copy this link in the chat. So if in case anyone would like to check it, so it's there, because in my experience, in Zoom, video and audio are not very well synchronized. So it's better if you have the first-hand experience with the tool yourself. I'm just going to explain the functionalities here. So here is the tool. It is in English and in Spanish. And so at the moment, being a prototype, I only have these few areas. The aim is to add more. So I'm just going to take this one. So here at the head, you see the metadata, the information about the area. And in this box in the middle, you have the translation, in this case, to English of the lyrics. And also here, the shengqiang and the banshi of each section at the beginning of the first line of each banshi section. You can see also all this information in Chinese in case you are a Chinese student or you are just a Chinese speaker. So in this navigator here at the bottom, this is where most of the information goes. So hopefully you see these boxes at the top. These boxes represent where the banshi are located, right? So the navigator, this is the whole track, and these boxes is the banshi. So CP Daoban, which is highlighted in yellow, is also highlighted here, meaning that this is the region where CP Daoban is performed. So if we click in CP Yuanban, this is the region where CP Yuanban is performed, and this is CP Erliu, and so on and so forth, right? So these bigger boxes, gray boxes here, represent each of the lines of the lyrics. So if I click on the first line, then it becomes highlighted in yellow, and also here in yellow, where the first line is sung. And this line here, just randomly chosen, is this one here. And I can click also on the navigator, and maybe the last line, which is this one, is CP Zamban, is highlighted here. And I can navigate through here or through here, wherever I want to listen. And you can see first how the distribution, so how the structure of the aria appears, how this first line is sung this much time, how in CP Liu Shui, the lines become more and more shorter, and then the last line is sung in a much longer duration. So then you can see, hopefully, this white line here, this is the tempo curve. This indicates the evolution of tempo, right? So if I click here in the middle, at this instant, the tempo is 86 BPM. And when I play, the tempo is evolving. So you can see the tempo changes while the banshi changes, but also how at the end of the line, for example, here, tempo goes down. Probably there is a tuoqiang there, this melismatic extension of the line at this part, and the tempo goes down and then is again taken here. Of course, in Daoban, in this first line in Daoban, this is a free meter, so there is no tempo there, right? While you hear, and I'm going to play just a bit, and I remember it's going to be not in sync, the image and what you see here. You see this light here clicking, and it's white when it's pan, and it's red when it's yen. So pan with the downbeat and yen with the upbeat, right? So just play a little bit. So the idea is that the listener can be able to listen to the beat, which one is the pan, the downbeat, and try to clap along that, right? When you change to Erliu, this is Iban Wu Yan, right? It's only downbeat, it's 1/4. So it's only white light here, okay? So with that, you can analyze how the change of banshi implies change of tempo, change of meter, but also change of the content of the lyrics, how all this is rated. Hopefully, this tool will help understand this, right? And the idea is that you develop this with your ears. So this visualization helps you, but then you can take out, for example, and click this. So when you click here, this is disabled, and you now have only your ears to find the tempo. The 3 tracks, which is the voice, the jingju, and the banggu, you can deselect any of those, or you can modify the volume of each of them to give them more or less prominence according to your own interest. And finally, very quickly, if you click here in the melody, you can see how the pitch contour evolves. Maybe here is clear to see. You have here the scale in the tiempo. So this is the standard numbers that indicate the scale. This would be the juin, or the gongyin, that it would be the gongyin of the scale played here, played there, and the pitch contour indicates which rate of the scale is being performed, and the thickness of the line is the loudness, is how loud is being sung. And you can see here towards the end this very loud and this very wide vibrato, while a little bit later became a bit narrower and softer vibrato there. So how the dynamic is playing also a role in this part. Maybe we can listen to that, and then I'll close the demonstration. And that's the end of the Taoban. In any case, the instructions are written here for you to understand how to use the tool. Okay, so with that, I just moved quickly to the future work, how I intend to progress from here. So, I mean, not me, the team. So we want to work on melodic motifs. This is something we want to do for all the music traditions we're doing here. And since I was doing field work in Beijing, I know that melodic motifs are crucial in jingju, but still no research have been done in the project about this topic. We want to do that and visualize them. Of course, we want to include video recordings, and we'll have some video recordings also from the Zhongguo Xixu Xueyuan, from the National Academy of Chinese Theatre Arts, to use for this tool. We aim to find how to visualize aspects of shengqiang, and I have some ideas, but still to be developed, because this is a bit harder concept to grasp and to put into form. But if anyone have any idea, I'm welcome to hear any suggestion. And finally, and this is the more complicated part for the whole project, is to develop a framework for evaluating through the users that these tools really help to achieve their goal, which is help the users better understand and better appreciate the music that they are addressing with these tools. And with this, I conclude. Sorry for the speed of my talking. I hope any of that was clear, and I welcome any comment from you. Thank you.